This is the tutorial for lesson 8B and 8C. And we're going to have to deviate a little bit from the book here because DraftSight operates a little bit differently than AutoCAD, but I'll show you what we're talking about as we go through. So we're going to start out with lesson 8B. All I've done is I started out with lesson 8A here, and I just deleted everything on the screen. And so I'm going to start out with a fresh CAD file for 8B. 8B is all about Note, or what is known as multi-line text in AutoCAD. The shortcut for it in AutoCAD is mtext. You can either click on Note right here, and it asks me to specify my first corner, and basically I just drag out a rectangular box, and up comes a box. I can type in a paragraph or anything I need to. The text for that, to type it into the command line, is mtext, and that's what I learned when I learned AutoCAD. And the mtext stands for multi-line text. I hit enter. It asks me to do the exact same thing, drag out a rectangle, and I get to the same spot. So to type it in with the keyboard is mtext, or you can use Note up here. So we're going to go ahead and just do this. I'm going to drag out a rectangle. It doesn't really matter how large it is. I'm just going to kind of make it about that size. And I'm going to go ahead and make this Comic Sans. I believe it asks us to use sans serif. But unfortunately we don't have sans serif. If you go down here, sans serif is not one of our options. So Comic Sans is a popular one. I'm going to go ahead and use that. I believe it asks us to use 0.25. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and start typing in the text. And I believe what you're going to see is it's very, very small. So just since I can't see that, I'm going to make mine 2.5 for now, and I'll come back later when I'm done with all this, and I will make it much smaller. And 2.5 seems to be a little big. Let's try it at 1.5. And I'm just typing what's in the book for lesson 8B. And it's going to look kind of funny as it goes down from line to line, but this will all change when I make it the appropriate size. And as I type this, I'm just hitting enter after the periods, where you can see it does that. And there we have it. That's all the text that I need. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight all of this text, and I'm going to make it the appropriate size, which is 0.25. 0.25 that is. And it should look much better once I go ahead and hit OK. So there it all is right there. You can see it obviously doesn't look exactly like it does in the book, but it's okay. We're going to go ahead and go back in, and we're going to make the changes that we need to make. And once we go back in, then it's a much more manageable size, and we can make whatever changes we need to make. So first things first, it looks like this one right here, it looks like they have it indented. I'm just going to hit tab to indent that, and I'm going to go put my cursor in front of the A here, and I'm going to hit tab twice because it wants the A a half an inch further. And I'm not sure if this is exactly a half an inch, but it's pretty close. In AutoCAD, you actually have a bit more features than this free version of DraftSight gives you. So, you know, this is as close as I can get it. It doesn't allow me to adjust the tabs and the distances kind of like a full-featured Microsoft Word does. AutoCAD does, but again, we would have to pay for AutoCAD. So this will work for what we are trying to get done. It looks like I left out a line. So they have something like Isn't this fun? I'm sure this is a blast, and now we are going to make some changes here. So it looks like what they've used here is tab, so I'm going to just go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to get rid of my space and just use tab to do these. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to tab these guys over so they line up perfectly. And so this all will make sense. Get rid of the space and then just tab them over. So that way this stuff all just lines up perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and highlight these now and then hit the underline button just like you would in Microsoft Word, and go ahead and click OK, and it should look something like that. I'll turn the grid off, and there we have it. So a little tedious, a little bit different than AutoCAD, but given the options that DraftSight gives us, that will work just fine for what we're looking for. And again, this is what is known as multi-line text, or as DraftSight calls it, note. So that's 8B. Moving on to 8C. 8C has us do a little bit of work with both single-line text and multi-line text. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over here. The first part of 8C is it has us draw a 6-inch by 3-inch rectangle. So I'll leave it to you guys to figure out exactly how to do that. Hopefully you remember. There's mine, my 6-inch by 3-inch rectangle, and it wants me to use single line text, so I like just doing DT for dynamic text. It wants me to justify it in the middle, so J enter and then M enter for middle, and it says specify middle position. And if I would have drawn a line across here, I could just click on the line, but the book wants me to try something called MTP. I'm going to type in MTP right now, hit enter, and it says specify first point of mid. Well, this is my first point, and then this is my second point, and what it does is it takes the middle of those 2 points. Okay, so I could have also drawn a construction line across here and just clicked on the triangle as the midpoint, but that's just another thing that they want to show you, is you can use MTP. Alright, the height of the text they want here is 1 inch. The text angle is 0, and the text they want us to type in is middle. I'm going to hit enter twice, and that guy is done. Okay, so that one works out perfectly, exactly how the book draws it up. The next one we do have to change a little bit, but I'll go into that one right now. So here we go. It wants me to draw a rectangle that I believe is 13 by 2. So I'm going to start it, D enter, 13, 2, and there's that rectangle. Okay, they want me to use note or M text. So M text, specify first corner, I'm going to click here, and then my second corner is down here, I'm going to click there, and I'm going to type in the words middle center. And they want this to be, looks like sans serif and 1. So mine's currently on 1, but I'm going to change it to Comic Sans because that's what we're going to use. So Comic Sans, it is on 1 currently. I'm going to go ahead and hit center this way, and I'm going to try and hit center here. I don't think it's going to work because I've tried this previously. Click OK, and you can see that's what it ends up looking like. So the issue that you can see is, for some reason, even though I chose that as my top point and this is my bottom point over here, it brings the bottom point down here. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do to just try and make this work. I'm going to take this text and I'm just going to move it down here, and I'm going to draw a line from here to here, and then I'm going to grab this guy and I'm going to right click on it and go to properties. And when I go to properties, you can see that it's currently on top left. Well, I'm going to change top left to middle center. And what that does is it gives me a grip right in the middle of the text. So now I can grab this grip and then move it up here until I find the triangle, and then that's going to snap middle center right there to the center of that rectangle. Then I hit escape a couple times, I'll click on that line and delete that line, and you will never know that that's how I had to get that to work. Okay, so sometimes we kind of have to do things in order to make them work. The way that the book wants us to do it, which is the AutoCAD version, doesn't work exactly for what we're trying to do. So we have to improvise a little bit, but at the end of the day, we come up with the same result. So that's lesson 8B and 8C, and I'll be back to finish up the rest of lesson 8 in the next tutorial.